Dear friends, welcome to the Community Rail Awards 2020. Introducing your host for the evening, Chief Executive of Community Rail Network, Jools Townsend, and Director of Nations and Regions at Rail Delivery Group, Robert Nisbet.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're keeping well out there. A very warm, enthusiastic welcome to you all to the 2020 Community Rail Awards. I'm Jools Townsend, I'm Chief Executive of the Community Rail Network, and I'm delighted to be joined tonight by Robert Nisbet from the Rail Delivery Group.
Fantastic to be here, Jools. It is slightly surreal, isn't it? I mean, putting a suit and a tie on and sitting in my kitchen, but that doesn't negate the value of these awards, and I'm really pleased to have been asked, so thanks very much.
You are very welcome. We're delighted to have you, and I'm really sorry that we can't all be actually together tonight for this very special event, but I really hope that you'll all be feeling the celebration, the passion, the enthusiasm beaming to you wherever you are through your computer screens and speakers, and I hope you've all got your party frocks on. Certainly our team at Community Rail Network have been working as hard as ever to make sure this is an evening to remember despite the circumstances, and a fitting recognition of all of the effort that everyone puts in year round into community rail. This event aims to showcase the work of community rail partnerships, the successes that they have, creating awareness and ownership, boosting access to and use of local railways so people can get the most from them. It also holds up the fantastic projects that we see delivered at railway stations the length and breadth of Britain, bringing stations into the heart of communities and making those stations into useful, welcoming, wonderful hubs for those communities. And this event also shows how partnership working between our communities, our railway family partners, local government, charities, businesses can bring about great things towards more inclusive and sustainable communities and railways. And we really firmly believe that this work is more important now than ever, as we look not only to recover from the pandemic, but also to build back better, greener and fairer. So we're really convinced of the ongoing great relevance, great importance of community rail to COVID-19 recovery, to building fairer local economies, to people's well-being, people's sense of community, and to tackling the climate crisis and creating a more sustainable, healthy transport system. And I'm certain that all of that will shine through really clearly tonight. So I hope that you enjoy this evening, and I wish all of you who are shortlisted for awards the very best of luck. You are all winners, and I know that my co-host tonight is fully with me on that.
Absolutely, Jools, and well said. It's such an honour to be here presenting these awards with you. I've spent a lot of my previous career on TV and radio, and now I'm on the TV and radio again, talking about the amazing work that our colleagues on the railway do, and how proud we should be of that rail heritage. And I don't think it's ever been truer than it has been in 2020. You know, when during lockdown, thousands of people made sure that key workers got to hospitals, that supermarket shelves remained stacked. But the challenge of building services back up while still observing social distancing, and further complicated, of course, by these unpredictable local restrictions, it's really difficult to overstate that challenge. But the government has stood by us as an industry, and now looks set to implement many of the serious reforms that we've been calling for, including an end to the outdated franchise system and ticketing structure. So, Jools, you said it earlier on about building back better, but it's got to be true. We've got to embrace it, haven't we? Because when we start to emerge from this crisis, the railway will play a crucial role. It's going to be that glue, the economic and social backbone of this country, and will be vital to getting people back into those towns and city centres which have taken such a knock over the past few months. And all of you watching have helped play your part in that resilience during lockdown, and now we've all got to pull together for the recovery. So thank you. And tonight, it's just great to be honouring all the fantastic work that's going on out there.
Thanks, Jools, and thank you, Robert. Really looking forward to the awards revealed tonight. But first, we have a short message from the Minister of State for Transport, Chris Heaton-Harris.
Hello and welcome to the 2020 Community Rail Awards. Although we all can't get together in person as we'd normally do this time of year to celebrate what's been going on, it's still a fantastic opportunity to celebrate the dedication and successes of those involved in delivering community rail. For the volunteers, the community rail partnership officers, their partners, your supporters. You should all be incredibly proud of what you've been able to achieve this year in really trying circumstances. I know many community rail groups have been delivering extraordinary things at this challenging time, from providing meals to the most vulnerable, to holding virtual coffee breaks for those who needed a chat, manufacturing face coverings, to running digital art programs. You've all been making a huge, huge difference locally to you in your communities. So thank you very much. In the coming year, community rail will be more important than it's ever been before. And I know you'll play a vital role in connecting your communities to each other and connecting communities to their railways. So well done to everyone who's been nominated tonight. Good luck. And I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Thanks.
Thank you, Minister. Great words of support for community rail there. Very encouraging. And now, introducing our headline sponsor, here's a message from the Chief Executive Officer of Angel Trains, Malcolm Brown.
Angel Trains is delighted to be sponsoring the Community Rail Awards again. This is a long tradition and a long history we have with the Community Rail Partnerships. They provide a vital role in our overall national network, and currently with the pandemic in this country, that work is ever more important, bringing communities together and helping to support our local railways. Angel Trains has been a proud sponsor of these events over the years, and we feel at this time it is more important than ever to show our support to the community rail. Thank you.
Thank you for that great message of support, Malcolm. We're very grateful for your ongoing support, as we are the support of all of our sponsors. But now, without further ado, welcome back to our hosts, Jools and Robert.
A big thank you from me and the team at Community Rail Network to the Minister and to Malcolm for their messages of support. Now, as you're all very well aware, this is our first virtual awards evening, so a whole new format for us, and we hope you like what we've done. And as I've said, really thrilled to have Robert co-hosting. It's hugely appreciated, Robert, so thank you.
You're really welcome. It feels like my old job, Jools, when I was charging around for Sky News and the BBC, just talking into a camera. So it's all been building up to this moment. And I've had a sneak peek of some of the entrants. There are so many amazing stories here, and it's just great to be able to share them with everybody.
Yeah, so as I'm sure you can all tell, we're both very excited about presenting the awards this evening. But before we do that, I need to tell you a little bit about what to expect. So we'll be introducing each category as usual, but we will then have a surprise guest cameo presenting each shortlist, before we then reveal the third, second, and of course the winner. Now, as we go through, there will also be a few messages of support from Community Rail's many fans, partners and supporters. And another change for tonight is that we're going to switch around the order of the categories, so you won't quite know what's coming next. Of course, we can't physically present the trophies and certificates this year, unfortunately, but they will be sent out to our winners and second and third place entrants very soon. Now, I hope you were already able to explore our expo area at the start, but bear in mind that after the presentation closes, the expo area will reopen, so you have another chance to look at the great content there from our sponsors and from our chosen charities of this evening. You'll also be able to network with other guests, which is always a big part of the awards, so do stay online afterwards, and please do enjoy your very own after party. Now we're pleased to be supporting two great charities tonight, Fearless.org and the Tree Council, as promoted on our website over the last few weeks. Now if you haven't had a chance to read up about them already, you can find out more about those charities and why we've chosen them in the expo area later. And details of how you can donate to these wonderful causes will appear on the screen during the evening and in the expo area. And lastly, I want to reassure you that we will have a short break midway through in about 45 minutes time, so you'll be able to stretch your legs and of course refresh your drinks. Now on with the important part of the evening, the awards, and over to you, Robert, to kick off the presentations.
Thanks very much, Jules. So here we go. I'm very pleased to introduce our first category, which is the Small Projects Awards, sponsored by Community Rail Lancashire. Now, this award is for projects that cost £500 or less, making great use of limited resources while delivering value for communities and their railways. The judges were very impressed with the projects that were able to adapt quickly during these challenging times. So let's go to our first guest cameo to introduce the shortlist from our category sponsor, CRO.
Hello from the bunker. I'm Karen Bennett, an Education Development Officer here at Community Rail Lancashire, and I'm also social media rep for Women in Community Rail. I'm just mid-filming some safety videos we're putting together for our virtual engagement with schools, so do excuse the rather odd attire. However, for the past 2 years' award ceremonies, I've worn dresses with trains on, so this isn't probably much different. I was delighted to have been asked to partake in this year's awards. Sadly, we're not all together in the same room in Southampton, but we are, however, all together in spirit tonight to celebrate all the wonderful work that we do, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in person in 2021. But for now, let's get to the exciting part. It's my pleasure to introduce the shortlist for the Small Projects Awards. Wow, such a varied range of projects, and all completed for under £500. Best of luck, everyone. Let's go back to Jules and Robert for the results.
Thank you to Karen and to Walter. So, third place in this category goes to the Friends of Brockenhurst Station for launching towards community engagement. And in second place, the Friends of Wall Station for making connections. Now, our winning entry began with the introduction of a much enhanced service for this local station, complemented by some great new facilities. However, due to the station's challenging location, the Friends group needed to raise awareness among local people if they were to increase passenger numbers. After consulting and engaging with local residents, the group delivered a host of improvements to make the station more attractive and accessible, creating a true gateway to the village.
Fantastic stuff. And I am delighted to announce that the winner is the Friends of Hunmanby Railway Station for attracting passengers to Hunmanby's new hourly train service. The Friends group added floral displays and school artwork, created a website highlighting local attractions, and produced a timetable and events guide funded by a local social enterprise. Between May 2019 and March this year, passenger numbers increased by an incredible estimated 30%, including many new rail users. And since March, the website has expanded to offer advice and support on keeping local residents safe, and judges praised the project for managing to adapt to the challenges of COVID-19. So very, very well done on this award.
Well done to you all, and massive congratulations to the Friends of Hunmanby. Now, our second award for this evening is Influencing Positive Change and Sustainable Development, and that's sponsored by TransPennine Express. This category recognises Community Rail's crucial role in innovating and influencing change, especially to support sustainable transport and sustainable development. We wanted to see great partnership working where Community Rail brings its unique perspective and where the community is able to shape positive change to benefit local people and their environment now and in the future. So over to our guest cameo for the shortlist.
I'm delighted to be joining you this evening remotely from my offices at St Pancras International. I've been involved with Community Rail for a long part of my career, starting as a commercial director at Arriva Trains Northern 15 years ago. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Diane Crowther. I'm Chief Executive of High Speed 1. It's an honour to be part of this year's awards, and I'm a great supporter of communities being involved in their railways. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to announce the shortlist. I'm sure you'll agree there are some wonderful nominees, and I wish everyone all the best. Now, back to our hosts to announce the winner.
Thanks, Diane, and congratulations to you on becoming the new chair of the National Skills Academy for Rail. Great news. So, in third place, we have Incredible Edible Bristol, Sevenside CRP and Great Western Railway for The Secret Garden at Avonmouth Station. In second place is Community Rail Lancashire for the Autism Friendly Line. And our winning project reflects the hidden side of this area of the country, not the renowned beauty of fells and valleys, but the reality of community life in areas of social and economic deprivation. Starting with a primary school adopting its local station, partners swiftly realised that Community Rail had the capacity to instigate and influence far-reaching change. It's a great story.
So I'm delighted to announce that our very deserving winner is Community Rail Cumbria, Millom Discovery Centre and Flimby Primary School for Better Side of the Tracks. Railway Journeys introduced a whole new dimension to the curriculum for the many children involved in this project, who benefited from practical ways of learning about issues like healthy lifestyles and the environment. All the pupils visited the wonderful Millom Discovery Centre, learning how rail had impacted on the area's industrial and social history. Community Rail Cumbria now has an impressive plan for supporting deprived communities, and the judges praised them for using rail to tackle challenging social issues.
Congratulations to Community Rail Cumbria and partners. And now we have a message from the Director of Rail at Transport Scotland, Bill Reeve.
Hello, I'm Bill Reeve. I'm Director of Rail at Transport Scotland, and I was very pleased to be asked on behalf of the Scottish Government to say a few words to you at this Community Rail Partnerships event. The Scottish Government understands that communities are connected to opportunities by railways, and we understand, therefore, the value of the work that Community Rail Partnerships do. We have 9 community rail partnerships in Scotland, and we're pleased to support them in the work that they do, helping us achieve our strategic objectives around social inclusion and sustainable development, and encouraging people to use environmentally sustainable transport. Really important work. May I pay a particular tribute to the community rail partnerships who have found new ways of supporting the communities around their stations during this particularly difficult time of COVID-19. I'm aware of some of the work done by the Borders CRP, to take just one example. I also perhaps should draw your attention to innovation we have in Scotland with our youth community rail partnership, and we were absolutely delighted when Rosie Campbell recently won the Young Volunteer of the Year award at the Young Scot Awards for the work that she did with the Youth Community Rail Partnership. So a big thank you for all that you do, and I do hope this event goes virtually for you very well, and a big thank you for the real work you do in the real world as well.
Thank you to Bill and Transport Scotland for your message of support. Very much appreciated. And now for something completely different. When COVID struck and the world went into lockdown, the Friends of Buxton Station issued their Mini Saga Challenge. They invited people to create uplifting, happy stories about stations, or to tell others about their volunteering within Community Rail, all in exactly 50 words. A selection of these mini sagas has been specially recorded for tonight, and we hope that you'll enjoy them throughout this evening. Here are the first two.
I was 16, he were 18, my first boyfriend ever. He kissed me, then left on the train. I wrote every day, courtesy of wartime aerograms. He came home after 4 years with no leave. I went to meet him at the station. We were married 2 weeks later.
His wife's sudden death, although untimely, not unexpected, gripped his heart and took his breath. Something to get out of bed for, that was how it started. But now it was within him to breathe new life into the neglected station garden. Colourful flowers smiled out. His legacy.
Wonderful to hear those, like rail haikus, aren't they? A little bit longer, of course, but some really personal and poignant words there. And I look forward to the rest that we're going to be peppering throughout the event. But now on with our next award, which is for Best Marketing or Communications Campaign, sponsored by Cross Country. Now, communication is so critical. I wouldn't have a job if we didn't care about communicating and targeting our messages about the great work that we do and the challenges that we sometimes face. So the way we communicate with our communities is crucial to both promoting rail travel and inspiring more people to get involved in our work. And many entries demonstrated a high level of cooperation between partners and understanding of target audiences, as well as an ability to promote rail travel as something special, connected to local histories, to landscapes, and to identities. So let's go over to our next special guest for the shortlist.
Hello, I'm Richard Solkeld, and welcome to a very special view of St Pancras and King's Cross. And best of all, it's not a virtual background, it's a real one. But it is fantastic to be here tonight for these awards, virtually as good as the real thing, if not better. So big well done, I've got to say, to all the team at the Community Rail Network for organising tonight's awards, and thank you for letting me be involved for a very short part of tonight's awards. So with that in mind, on what's been a very challenging year for the industry in general, but certainly with great cause to celebrate some of the fantastic marketing or communications work that's been taking place, let's take a look at the shortlist in Best Marketing or Communications. Well, there we have the shortlist, a great mix and a great geographic spread around the country of some fantastic projects in the Best Marketing or Communications campaign. But for me in London, it's back to Jools and Robert for the winner.
How wonderful to have Richard taking part tonight. I'm sure you'll all agree that it wouldn't be the same awards without him. Now, I'm delighted to announce that in third place for this award, it's Devon and Cornwall Rail Partnership for the Loo Pirate Trail. In second place, it's Hereward Community Rail Partnership for online consultations. Now, our winning entry is a great example of what can be achieved when a group of community rail partnerships and their train operator work collaboratively together. The aim of this campaign was to attract more leisure travellers to local branch lines, helping to remove congestion and pollution from the lovely locations in this part of the world by encouraging people to travel more sustainably by train. The project highlighted amazing places that can be accessed by rail and showed that by exploring by train, you can sit back and enjoy the ride.
And I am delighted to announce that the winner for this category is the Bitton Line, Wherry Lines, East Suffolk Lines, Hereward Line, Essex and South Suffolk Community Rail Partnerships and Greater Anglia for Room with a View. The team created stunning videos to showcase the beauty of 8 community rail lines promoted via the Community Rail Partnerships Facebook pages and the Greater Anglia website. Great partnership there. The campaign, now listen to this, reached over 1.2 million people on social media, with 220,000 watching the videos, and that level of engagement is brilliant, and naturally it led to a significant increase in passenger numbers. And this was the first time that the train operator and its CRPs had worked together on this type of joint project, and judges praised it as a collaborative and valuable campaign and an excellent use of resources. Let's take a look at an example.
Journeying through the heart of the Broads National Park, the Wherry Lines Railway is a gateway to waterways, marshes, mills and the East Anglian coast. The 2 lines run eastwards out of the historic cathedral city of Norwich. One route takes passengers onto the seaside resort of Great Yarmouth, while the other terminates at Britain's most easterly town, Lowestoft, with its award-winning South Beach, leisure facilities and marinas. Part of the route includes the first railway to be built in Norfolk, and today the Wherry Lines take their name from the traditional wherries, boats which transported goods and people around the Broads. The northern section of the Wherry Lines travels through the traditional Norfolk villages of Brundall and Lingwood to Acle, with its part-thatched church, located near to the Weaver's Way footpath, and then alongside Braden Water to Great Yarmouth.
Wonderful to see that video, and congratulations again to all of you. Now, moving on, our next award is for community art schemes. And as usual, this category is split into 2. We've got permanent and larger art projects, which is sponsored by Abellio. And then we've got renewable and smaller art projects, which is sponsored by Transport for Greater Manchester. And this is always a really popular, competitive category, but these types of projects have unfortunately been greatly affected by the pandemic this year. So there are a lot of projects that haven't been able to reach completion, but which we very much hope will be completed and submitted for the awards next year. So next year we'll be extending this category to include those projects that have been unable to complete during 2020. Now, nonetheless, the entries that we did receive were impressive and sparked a lot of debate amongst the judges. Among the renewable and smaller projects, the judges were really bowled over by the innovative approaches that entrants took. And it's been really exciting to see too how during a very difficult time these projects captured and resonated with feelings of the moment. So supporting mindfulness, positive mental health, tackling loneliness and cross-generational engagements were all key themes. And the judges used the word breathtaking to describe the standards that they saw. So we're now going to a special cameo to show you the shortlists.
Hello, I'm Jeff.
Hello, I'm Vicky.
Thanks for having us along to the Community Rail Awards. We acknowledge via video. It's been a tricky, troublesome 2020 pandemic, but we're here to be excited and celebrate everything good that's happened this year in Community Rail.
For those of you who don't know us, we are all the stations. Some of you may have followed us in 2017 when we visited every single railway station in Great Britain.
I watched, it was really good. Followed along.
So we know firsthand all the incredible work that the community rail sector does. And we're excited to be able to present the nominations for tonight's category of Community Art Schemes, Permanent and Larger Projects.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce to the screen the shortlist for community art schemes, renewable and smaller projects. Okay, good luck everyone. Fingers crossed, is that right?
Yeah, and just remember, whatever happens tonight, you're all a winner. But for now, it's back to Jools and Robert. Good luck.
Thank you so much to Vicky and Jeff for that fantastic message. I call them the Van de Graaff generators of the railway network. They just generate so much energy and they're fantastic. Great that they were able to contribute this evening as well. But now on with the placings, starting with permanent and larger art projects. I'm pleased to announce that third place goes to East Hampshire CRP for Liss Station Vinyls. In second place is The Lightbox and South Western Railway for We All Have a Happy Place. For us, it's Woking Station. And our winning entry began when this CRP started work with a primary school whose pupils and families rarely engaged with the railway. Through this project, over 200 children enjoyed train trips, many for the first time, and took part in sessions to develop rail safety and confidence and learn about the opportunities that rail can offer. To give their local station more of a community feel, the children devised a piece of artwork that would put it on the map.
I'm delighted to announce that the winner is Community Rail Lancashire for Horizons. The finished mural features images chosen by the pupils to reflect the diversity of their community in Dewsbury. Its title reflects a deeper understanding of travel, life and aspirations gained by the children using rail to broaden their horizons. Judges said that the level of community involvement with the Community Rail Partnership, the parents, the children and the school all working together was particularly impressive. And now for the renewable and smaller arts projects. Third place is awarded to the Poacher Line CRP and South Nottinghamshire Academy for fine art at Radcliffe-on-Trent. Second place goes to Community Rail Lancashire for Be Free Manchester. Our winning entry blended poetry and music to celebrate local memories along this community railway line. Communities that have limited access to the arts were encouraged to engage in this creative project, sharing their experiences of the line, its stations and its diversity, and how views from the train window have changed down the years. Participants felt new connections with their local railway and developed confidence in writing for enjoyment, a skill that many hadn't used before.
And I'm delighted to announce that the winner is Track Record Arts and Sevenside CRP for Track Record, the soundtrack to the Severn Beach Line. Now, Track Record is an evocative soundtrack that enriches the experience of passengers using the Severn Beach Line. It was launched with innovative silent disco style trips along the line and a live performance at the Severn Festival. And the project now has an accompanying book, a CD and a website where the soundtrack can be downloaded for free. Judges describe this as fabulously creative and a project that could be replicated on other lines to promote community rail and the arts. So let's hear a short sample track.
Ghost Ride. An offshoot train parked on its own private platform. A spare sixth finger, a little digit you might not notice. Behind Temple Mead's wide concourse. Forget the big berthed intercity, allure of lunging to Edinburgh. Where after all are we going? Now, before it's too late, choose Bristol, this river port to live. The biggest journeys come closest to home. The track runs right through your own backyard, framed by a rear window, a shed, a garden since summer untended. Stapleton Road Station, the spied into tight terraced rows. January, the greyscale day depresses, gets under the collar. Almost by magic, the three carriages slide off, once more somnambulantly. As though this ride to Clifton Down was written in sleep, had always been through winter weeks, a driverless ghost ride.
What an inspiring project, congratulations. And now we have a message from the Managing Director of Network Rail, Andrew Haynes.
Thank you very much for inviting me to contribute to this year's Community Rail Awards. Of course, it's been a year that's been really, really different. It's been a challenging time not only for our rail industry, but for the country as a whole as well, and indeed for the whole globe. But the work that you've all done over the past 12 months, and especially during the past 6 months, as we tackle our biggest challenge yet, has been genuinely inspiring. So I want to take this moment to recognise all of your hard work, your resilience, and your commitment. I really believe that these awards highlight just how dedicated you are and the improvements and enhancements of our railway that you enable. So I want to personally thank you for continuing with all of this much needed work at this difficult time. And moreover, your efforts are going to be absolutely key to ensuring the railway is ready to welcome passengers back when the time is right. Just let me offer my very warmest congratulations to all this year's winners, and please, please keep up the great work. Thank you very much.
Well, figures in the railway don't come much bigger than the boss of Network Rail, so fantastic to hear that great message of support from Andrew. Okay, on to the next category, which is It's Your Station, sponsored by Avanti West Coast. Now, this category acknowledges the breadth of wonderful work being undertaken by station friends groups across Britain. We know how difficult it has been to continue station adoption activity during lockdown, but perseverance is a word synonymous with community rail, and groups have shown that more than ever this year. Our judges were astounded when we received a record number of entries in this category. And whilst they couldn't go out and do their usual visits this year, they spent many hours with groups on Zoom calls hearing about their work. The judges are always impressed by the collaboration, community involvement, and creativity that underpins the station adoption movement, and all undertaken by volunteers. So groups have been placed across 4 bands: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, and the lead group at each level will be acknowledged. So let's see who's introducing the shortlists for these bandings, and time to put in a little quiz here too. See if you recognise the location.
Hello from Cowstock in Cornwall on the scenic Tamar Valley line. I'm Richard Birmingham. I'm the manager of the Devon and Cornwall Rail Partnership, chair of the Community Rail Network. This is the most hotly contested category of these so highly contested awards. It is my pleasure to introduce the shortlist by banding for It's Your Station. What a fabulous shortlist, and good luck to you all. Particular shout out to our good friends at Penmere, the Friends of Penmere Station. With that, it's back to Jools and Robert for the results.
Thank you, Richard. And I agree, it's wonderful to see so many entries in this category. In fact, we had 45 this year, which is almost 50% more than usual. But without further ado, starting with bronze, the lead group in this banding is Evesham Station Garden Project. And at silver level, the lead group is Reedham Station Adoption Group. And our gold level winner is this year the Friends of Rose Hill Station. And on to our platinum winners. They enjoyed another stellar year, extending their expansive range of community development and environmental work. They've organised events, developed their sustainability and biodiversity projects, and during lockdown they initiated a campaign to support local shops. They're recognised as local heritage heroes and a shining example of what Station Friends groups can achieve.
So I'm delighted to announce that the lead group at platinum level is the Friends of Buxton Station. Now, the Friends of Buxton Station are at the heart of their community. They are always willing to share their enthusiasm and expertise, and over the past year have helped create a new Friends group at Dove Holes, acted as mentors to other groups, and been a consultee on a local future high street funding bid. Their work goes above and beyond, and they are admired and valued as an integral community partner. So well done.
Our next award is the last award before we go to the midway break. And this is continuing on the station vein. It's for the most enhanced station. And this award is sponsored by Greater Anglia. Now, this category recognises essential work in community rail to bring about the improvement, rejuvenation and restoration of stations and their surroundings for community benefit. The judges were pleased to see projects that brought increased social value, enhanced facilities and a warm welcome for passengers and local communities. They were particularly impressed with entries that created hubs and spaces that local residents and groups could use and enjoy. So let's go to our guest cameo to find out who's on the shortlist.
Good evening everyone. I'm delighted to have been asked to introduce a category shortlist at this year's Community Rail Awards and share in celebrating the brilliant things that have been happening in community rail despite a very challenging year for the railway industry. It's an absolute honour to be part of such a fantastic evening and that highlights all the tremendous work you have all done in supporting our communities and improving our railway. I can really appreciate this must have been difficult with the huge hit the railway industry has faced this year, but you've continued to work hard and promote the positivity of rail and remove barriers to travel. So a huge personal thank you from me for everything you've done, and congratulations to those who've been nominated, shortlisted and of course to tonight's winners. Now let's introduce the shortlist for Most Enhanced Station. What a brilliant shortlist. Now let's go back to our host to announce the winner.
Well, all the great and the good are here tonight, Jules. Great to have Sir Peter taking part tonight, and our thanks to him. So, third place in this category goes to 5 Acre Wood Special School and Grow 19 for 5 Acre Wood and Grow 19 project, A Chance to Grow. Second place goes to Friends of Gypsy Hill for Rejuvenation of Gypsy Hill. And our winning entry is a community station project that has brought a huge range of partners together, all working towards creating a welcoming gateway to their town. Now, over the past year, the station's community information hub has grown from a modest facility that was only open during the summer to a space that has become increasingly key to the economic vitality of the area. The hub is seeing increased visitor numbers, and its revamp has created a real buzz among the local community.
And I'm delighted to announce that the winner is a wide-ranging partnership, and it is, here goes, Hazelmere Arts Society, Museum and Town Council, with Surrey County Council, South Western Railway and regional partners for Hazelmere Community Station. Hazelmere's new Community Information Hub has not only transformed the aesthetics of the station, it's allowed the hub's dedicated team of volunteers to offer a range of facilities to support local development and healthy, sustainable travel. This includes a community event space, new flower beds, artwork from local schools, a large totem displaying maps of the town and its countryside, and even a hand-painted life-size Surrey Hills cow decorated with a rail-to-trail cycle route. Judges praise the project for turning the station into much more than a station.
Dear friends, we now have a literary addition to our programme. This poet, journalist, playwright and broadcaster has been described as the Shirley Bassey of performance poetry. Please sit back and enjoy the wonderful words of the Bard of Barnsley, Ian Macmillan.
Hello everybody, my name's Ian Macmillan from my little signal box here in Barnsley, and here's a poem for Community Rail. It's called All Aboard. Never a one-way ticket, always a first-class return on the investment of time and expertise on these lines that help us to learn that people are what make a railway, more than a platform and seats, more than the timetable. People are what make a railway complete. Always the whistle is blowing, as the ideas they never end, of station adoption and colourful gardens you see as the train rounds the bend, of cafes and signboards and benches, communities showing the face of a station to those who pass through it, who think, well, this must be a place where marvellous changes can happen. In this vortex of coming and going, there's culture and learning and grand cups of tea, and the ideas just keep on flowing. So here's to the folk who make all this tick, the grafters and workers and those who volunteer from the first train till the last, who dig out the raised beds and put on the shows, who spend endless weekends in gardening clothes and go home with traces of muck on their nose. And this is a glimpse of what railways could be, the heart and the centre, the hub, a welcoming smile that says, come on in and let's all be part of this club. Now it's time for the awards. Let the champagne get poured, and let's shout our motto, all aboard, all aboard. That's me whistle.
That was brilliant, and I know you'll all join me in saying an immense thank you to Ian, who wrote that poem especially for us here at the Community Rail Awards. Just fantastic. Now, we're going to go into a 5-minute break now, but first I wanted to let you know that during the break, we are screening a Scenic Rail Britain showcase. So do come back and have a look at that once you've refreshed your drink, of course. So we'll be back in 5. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you managed to get another glass in. But right, now we're going to get on with our next award, which is for Involving Diverse Groups, sponsored by London North Eastern Railway. This category acknowledges the great work going on to involve more people in an inclusive, welcoming way, helping to build cohesive communities and tackle isolation. It's a crucial developing area of community rail. The judges were impressed with the number and quality of the entries and said it was extremely encouraging to see this category expanding, showing the growing role that community rail plays in bringing people together and championing diversity and inclusion. So, who do we have joining us to introduce this shortlist?
Hello from Chelmsford. I'm Dominic Duncon and I lead on Access and Inclusion at Rail Delivery Group. After many years of attending the awards, I was asked this year to be a judge in the Involving Diverse Groups category. And it was a big honour, I have to say, and a very difficult task. The quality of the nominations was absolutely amazing. And it really reinstalled my awareness of all the work going on throughout 2020, and that hasn't been an easy year. So well done to all of those groups. Without much further ado, let's have a look at the shortlist for the Involving Diverse Groups category. What a fantastic shortlist. Good luck to everybody. And now it's over to Jools and to Robert for the results.
Many thanks for that, Dominic. And as Head of Diversity and Inclusion at Rail Delivery Group, you'll certainly understand the importance of this area of work. So, third place in this category goes to South East Communities Rail Partnership, County Care, Aldingbourne Trust and Go Via Thameslink Railway for good to talk, even better to share. And second place goes to Community Rail Lancashire for From Seats to Sacks. Now, the concept behind our winning entry in this category is that music has the power to engage and move people. This Community Rail Partnership has been exploring alternative ways to identify and overcome barriers to rail travel, particularly among groups with additional needs who are often hesitant about opening up. Now, through this project, they found a way to involve people more meaningfully, drawing out their views and seeing the railway through their eyes.
And I'm delighted to announce that our winner is Tyne Valley Community Rail Partnership for Lyric and Line. Singer-songwriter Gareth Davis-Jones built relationships with 3 groups who, despite having links with the partnership, did not habitually use the train. He worked with each of the groups to write and record an original song that reflected both their challenges in using the train and the joys of rail travel. Brilliant idea. And the project has allowed the CRP to gain insights towards making the line more accessible to everyone, and judges praised its use of song to explore valuable ideas and issues. So let's have a look.
My name is Gareth and I'm a singer-songwriter. Music is very inclusive. Everyone ultimately has ideas and something to say, and anyone from the youngest to the oldest can write a song. I'm really looking forward to working with Tyne Valley Community Rail Partnership and all the different groups along the line.
Inclusivity will be a big part of our action plan in the next year, and Lyric and Line is one of the ways that we will go about doing the things we need to be doing.
Lyric and Line is a great idea. We're really looking forward to seeing what Gareth does with working with some of these groups that have additional needs that are just a little bit further away from the railway line than we would wish them to be.
I think this is a fantastic project, and Northern are very supportive of the project itself and would like to be involved in any way we can.
Lyric and Line is a great way for people to express what they think and feel about the railways through original songs.
I think it was really, really good workshop because it got you thinking about not just the negatives but the positives behind the train.
It's very good and I enjoyed it.
But when there's carriages enough and the seats are good and broke, you can get from place to place.
Enjoyed the singing and thank you for playing your guitar.
I found it interesting that you can construct a song with just a fine sense of the obvious, really.
I think the workshop with Gareth was, people really enjoyed it, everybody contributed, even people who are quite quiet, and everybody had things to say about whether they'd enjoyed or the problems of catching trains.
How fantastic. Just wonderful hearing about that. Now, our next category is for the Best Community Engagement Project, and it's sponsored by RockRail. Now, Community Rail is, of course, all about engaging communities with their railways. And this year we've seen a range of projects that had to be developed or reworked quickly to respond to the particular circumstances that we found ourselves in, showing the adaptability and resilience of Community Rail. So a diverse mix of projects really impressed our judges, from longer term schemes through to one-off smaller initiatives that responded to specific circumstances. So let's take a look at the category shortlist with our next guest.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Catherine O'Brien, Customer Experience Director at TransPennine Express. No prizes for guessing which station I'm stood on this evening, but if you do need a clue, it's famous for its cakes and its markets. And it's very poignant that I'm stood on a northern station, because that's where my love of Community Rail was first born. Many years ago I became part of the Community Rail movement, and I've watched it grow from strength to strength. I've made many friends along the way, and I'm delighted to have been asked to present this evening's award. I'm delighted to announce the shortlist for the Best Community Engagement Project. Wow, what an amazing shortlist, I'm sure you'll agree. And the very best of luck to you all. Now back to Jules and Robert for the results.
Thanks, Catherine. And of course, you fully understand the importance of community engagement, so it's great to see you introducing this shortlist. So, third place in this category goes to Furness Line and Lakes Line CRPs for Skill Swap Station Adoption Group event. In second place is Isle of Wight and Lymington to Brockenhurst Community Rail Partnerships for Food on the Move. And our winning entry focused on tackling gender bias in rail, aiming to make the industry genuinely inclusive as it continues to grow. Around 300 women and girls of all ages and backgrounds used writing and artwork to share their views with key stakeholders on issues important to them, including rail, gender balance, and mental health. The project gave young women the opportunity to learn about careers in rail and champion their role in shaping its future.
And I'm thrilled to announce that our winner is Community Rail Lancashire for Women in STEM. This project focused on STEM skills within rail, working to banish stereotypes around roles that in the past have been seen as the preserve of men. To help them shape and express their views, groups were taken on confidence-building rail trips and given the chance to meet staff and explore technical roles within the industry. This project's focus on inspiring the next generation of women and girls to consider STEM-based opportunities received high praise from the judges. They called it a standout initiative with potentially life-changing outcomes. And now, a very short interlude as we hear another of the fabulous mini sagas.
Postman Pat says hello. His name is Tuffy, says the boy, smiling at the bear. We write the name. The train glides in. Excited hands wave at the driver. All aboard and hold on tight! A journey begins. An adventure launched. Look, dinting archers. The world below in miniature.
Community rail? What's that all about then? Partners? Stationed and routes, local people and volunteers, operators and helpers, gardeners and campaigners, sustainable and equitable, visionaries and innovators, ordinary and hard-working, city and rural, committed and caring, engaged and understanding. Vocal and often understated, together yet not gathered. You and me.
I'm loving those mini sagas. Now it's time for our next category, which is Involving Children and Young People, sponsored by Grand Central. Now, this is a really important category, focusing on the younger generation who have been leading the way in the past year in helping us put sustainability at the forefront of all of our thinking. As usual, we saw a wide-ranging initiatives entered in this category geared at empowering more children and young people to make a difference and access the opportunities they deserve. So let's find out who's introducing the shortlist for this category.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so delighted to be joining you this evening remotely from London. I have been involved with Community Rail previously due to my work with the Princess Trust. This has led me to many wonderful opportunities, including delivering a seminar with the Trust on how to engage and attract young people in the rail sector. For those who don't know me, my name is Najla Al-Mutairi. I am a young ambassador for the Princess Trust and a station assistant for Govia Thames Link Railway at London Victoria Station. It's an honour to be part of this year's award. That's enough from me. Let's get to the exciting part. It's my pleasure to announce the shortlist for Involving Children and Young People Award. I'm sure you will agree, there are some wonderful nominees, and I wish everyone the very best of luck. Now it's back to Jools and Robert for the results.
And we're thrilled to have Najla taking part, as she herself was a winner at this year's National Rail Awards for outstanding personal contribution to the industry. So congratulations to you from us, Najla. Now on with this category's winners. And the third place goes to Community Rail Lancashire for Ticket to Pride. And in second place is the Friends of Buxton Station for Mini Saga Challenges, positive stories in exactly 50 words. Now, our winning entry empowered hundreds of students to lead on a range of community projects linked to their local railways and stations. They were given the chance to showcase their skills in real-life situations, helping to increase confidence and self-esteem, to boost employment prospects as well. Their work has made rail travel more appealing to young people and local communities, encouraging a switch to more sustainable travel by rail.
And I'm delighted to say that our winner is Sheppey College and Kent CRP for the Sheppey College Project, A Chance to Shine. Working with the CRP, students created a website and video to promote local tourism. They made posters to raise awareness of issues including equality, addiction and mental health, and improve stations by installing new benches, planters, bird boxes and floral displays. They were busy. Alongside developing teamwork and creative skills, they gained a greater sense of appreciation for their communities and for rail travel. Judges described the project as wide-ranging and one that underpinned the true meaning of community rail. So really well done to you.
On with our next category, which is our Tourism and Heritage Award, sponsored by Transport for Wales Rail Services. Now, this category was introduced to recognise the huge amount of effort that many of you put into promoting sustainable and community-minded tourism by rail. This category has been hit especially hard, of course, by the pandemic, with very few projects able to reach completion. But the judges asked us to emphasise that they were very impressed with those that did. So here's our next special guest to introduce this shortlist.
Hello from the Royal Albert Bridge here on a very chilly Tamar Valley. I'm Tim Dunn. It's an absolute delight to be here as part of the Community Rail celebrations and the awards for this last year. So much has been achieved over this year. It really is great to be here. And I'm delighted to be able to announce the shortlist for the Tourism and Heritage Award, all of which are absolutely brilliant. What an absolutely cracking shortlist. Everyone on that should be so proud of what's been achieved. Now, back to Robert and Jools to announce the winners.
And what a fabulous surprise to have Tim contributing tonight. Thanks, Tim. And we're all loving your TV show, The Architecture the Railways Built. And delighted it's coming back for not just one, but two series. Proof this country just can't get enough rail. And I hear that community rail will also be making a significant appearance in those series. So fantastic news. Well, back to the category, and third place in this Tourism and Heritage Award goes to Abbey Line Community Rail Partnership for Christmas in St Albans by Community Rail. In second place is Furness Line CRP and Morecambe Bay Partnership for To Stations and Beyond, Wayfinder Maps on Furness Line stations and Window Gazer Guide. But our winning entry is a project that gave hundreds of people the chance to experience a genuine piece of railway history in its final working days. It allowed the Community Rail Partnership to introduce community rail to a new audience and engage the public in a wider modernisation scheme for this local line and station. The events became a focal point and launchpad for the town's Heritage Open Days Festival, which attracted more than 15,000 visitors to the area.
And our winner is the Wherry Lines Community Rail Partnership, Lowestoft Central Project, Lowestoft Heritage Open Days Festival and Network Rail for Lowestoft Signal Box tours. Lowestoft Signal Box overlooked the town's station and goods yard for more than 100 years, and the demand to see it was huge. These events formed part of a comprehensive heritage experience which included vintage bus tours, history talks and a photographic exhibition showing the changing local railway scene over the years. Judges praised the extensive work, describing this as a unique opportunity for visitors to connect with local rail heritage. And all this formed part of a longer running major endeavour turning Lowestoft into a true community station.
What a lovely project there, and well done. And now we have a message from the Welsh Minister of Economy, Transport and North Wales, Ken Skates, MS.
Noswaith, good evening. It's a real pleasure to be able to join you this evening, and my thanks to the Community Rail Partnership, and in particular to Jools Townsend for asking me to say a few words as the Minister for Transport, Economy and North Wales in the Welsh Government. Obviously, we've faced huge challenges in 2020 as a result of coronavirus, responding as best we can to the enormous disruption that's being caused by the virus. But our long-term ambitions for rail remain. We want to create the best possible integrated transport system that we can provide for the people of Wales and in the borders area. And that means that we have to go on investing resource, energy, time and attention in improving our rail services. And of course, community rail partnerships have proven to be invaluable in terms of community engagement, promoting rail. And I am incredibly grateful to all the partnerships that have been assisting Transport for Wales and the Welsh Government. I think it's absolutely right that we give time to celebrate success, and in particular that we give time to thank those who have been at the forefront of promoting rail. And that's why this evening's event is so very important. I note that there is a shortlisted entry from the Wales and Borders area, the Chester-Shrewsbury Partnership, and like many other partnerships, the Chester-Shrewsbury Partnership have proven to be incredibly valuable in terms of ensuring that there is a good degree of community engagement and that the use of our railways goes on being promoted even during these difficult times. I ought to also acknowledge the sponsorship of Transport for Wales, who are sponsoring this evening's event for the Tourism and Heritage Award. And the shortlisted entries for that particular award look fantastic. And we're determined, just with regards to Transport for Wales, we're determined to ensure that they become a world leader in community rail with a massive transformative contribution to what we are seeing in our communities. And during the course of 2020, governments have had to take steps to stabilise services in the face of the most unprecedented disruption that we could have imagined and that we have ever faced. And in spite of that, I am still confident that as we look to the future, as we reach the end of 2020 and look towards 2021, with a recovery, we will see job prospects improved again, we will see communities more cohesive, and I firmly believe that we will see rail further enhanced across our country. And your contribution in promoting rail use will continue to be invaluable. Thank you so much, and good luck with tonight's event.
Many thanks for that, Minister. And now for an old favourite, the photo competition, sponsored by Porterbrook. In this category, we encouraged entries that illustrated community rail in action. As you know, the shortlisted entries were then put to an online vote open to all of you and the general public. And without further ado, I'm going back to one of our earlier guests for the shortlist.
Hello, Richard Salkeld, back again for one more award tonight, and it's one of my favourites actually. It's the photography competition. Again, some tremendous entries, always a popular category at the Community Rail Awards, an exciting category, and I've got to say, some fantastic entries. So with that in mind, let's take a look at this year's shortlist. Some tremendous entries there, and thanks to Porterbrook, the category sponsor for Best Photography Competition. So with the winner, it's over to Jools and Robert, and a thank you from me for the Community Rail Network for inviting me to be part of this year's awards for I think about the 6 or 7 time running, so hopefully see you again next year. But in the meantime, here's the all-important winner in the Best Photography Competition.
Thank you, Richard. What a great category for you to introduce. We know you're a big fan. So the third placed photo is It seems they enjoyed their visit. In second place, we have Snodland Garden Growing Together.
And the winning image is a wonderful depiction of the essence of community rail. I love this. It's age is just a number.
Well done again to everyone who entered that category, and thanks to everyone who voted. On to our next award, which is for Outstanding Volunteer Contribution, sponsored by Merseyrail. Now, this very special category recognises the incredibly valuable contribution that volunteers make to community rail, as well as to their stations, their lines, and their communities. The shortlist gives just a glimpse of the dedication, the commitment, the hard work and the passion put in by so many volunteers across the community rail field. And this category is always just so difficult for the judges, as all community rail volunteers are worthy of an award, and this year was no exception to that. So let's get on with the shortlist, which is in the hands of our final special guest this evening, one of news broadcasting's best known faces.
My name is Nicholas Owen, and I'm here at Reigate Station, which is my local station, which is on the North Downs line. And I've been involved in the last few years in helping to promote, if you like, that line, encouraging people to use it, and very excited about plans for the future. But as we know, it's been a very, very difficult few months, so I'm also delighted at the moment to be involved in the Community Rail Awards. And it's my great pleasure now to introduce the shortlist for the Outstanding Volunteer Contribution. What a terrific list. I know a lot of those stations and a lot of those places that have been mentioned. But it's time now to find out who is the winner. Let's go to Jools and Robert.
Just wonderful to have Nicholas with us, especially as he's a great supporter of community rail through his involvement with the South East Communities Rail Partnerships North Downs line. Okay, now on with the placings, and in third place it is Sarah Hampton, Friends of Beeston Station. Second place goes to Mike Wilmot, who has worked with various community rail groups, including North Staffordshire CRP and the Far North Line in Scotland. But our winner is someone who is celebrated for her passion for life and an unstinting desire to help people and communities flourish. After her local station became neglected and unloved, she took it upon herself to adopt and transform it into a place of colour and beauty, creating a welcoming environment that people could be proud of. Her enthusiasm engaged new volunteers, partners and funders, and she led by example, organising working parties and championing the value of station adoption and its benefit to local communities.
And I'm delighted to announce that our very deserving winner for 2020 is Kath Warbrick of the Friends of Espatria Station. Kath's can-do attitude, her leadership and her mentoring skills have inspired her group to deliver miraculous improvements to their station. Now a bright and cheerful environment for passengers, antisocial behaviour has been reduced and new partnerships have been forged with the local secondary school, local media, businesses and the town council. Kath remains passionate about making Espatria a true community asset, and the judges describe her as an outstanding individual who embodies the true mettle of volunteering in community rail. And now a very short interlude as we hear another of our wonderful mini sagas, and haven't they all been fantastic?
With purpose he strode towards the near abandoned track. As a boy, he raced the Flying Scotsman from platform to crossing, always losing, never feeling defeated. Depleted energy spurred his concentrated digging, weed removal, and planting for future generations. The old station will always be part of his life.
Walking towards it in the rain, I was only aware of the brightest colours. A railway bridge in the middle of a station. It couldn't be, there simply wasn't the space, yet there it was. But who would paint a bridge bright red with blue edges? The rainbow shone brightly.
Now it's time for a special award, the Railway Family Supporting Communities Award, sponsored by the Rail Delivery Group. Now, this award has been created to recognise individuals within the rail industry and community rail who have gone the extra mile to support their communities during the coronavirus pandemic. The last few months obviously have been a challenging time for everyone, but countless members of our railway family at all levels have gone above and beyond their usual duties to help their communities get through this difficult time. So this award recognises those who have made a real difference as a result. There's no shortlist, simply one winner selected from the nominations, and we have a message from Jack Starr, the Chief Operating Officer at the Rail Delivery Group.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you to those who have joined us this evening. My name is Jacqueline Starr, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Rail Delivery Group. I would like to start by firstly thanking the organisers of this ceremony. I appreciate how difficult it is to plan an event during these uncertain times, so I would like to congratulate the Community Rail Network on such a brilliant event. As we near the end of the year, tonight is an opportunity to reflect on just how much the virus has changed all of our lives. We know that after 2020, nothing will be the same. The railway, of course, is no exception to this, and in many ways the railway has changed beyond recognition. What must not be forgotten, though, is that at the heart of our efforts in response to the virus are our people, and crucially the communities they serve. COVID-19 has caused much devastation, and as we traverse this pandemic, we have work to do to aid the recovery of our communities and their vital railway and transport links. This is why the work that the Community Rail Network is undertaking is so important. As the railway looks to build back better, the vital role played by community rail partnerships and station groups is more important than ever. Because of this, I'd like to take the opportunity to offer a message of support on behalf of the Rail Delivery Group for the Community Rail Network and all the work that they are doing to ensure we build a successful future for our railways. I would also like to thank all of those who submitted entries to the Railway Family Supporting Communities Award. Your contribution is not taken for granted, and I'm glad that the Community Rail Network were able to recognise this with creation of this new award. Good luck to all those who have been nominated. Back to you, Robert.
And thank you to Jacqueline for that message. Now, when the pandemic hit, huge demands were placed on the NHS and the care sector, and our winners in this category immediately set out to help. They began making much needed scrubs for their local hospital, medical centres and care homes, sourcing materials and threads from friends and sewing groups, and donations and support from the local business community. As volunteers in their local station adoption group, they also worked with their local community rail partnership and town council to help fund their efforts, leading by example to inspire others to get involved.
That's wonderful, and it gives me immense pleasure to announce that the winner of this special award is, well, actually it's two people. Shalene Duval and Christine Holland for the Scrubs project. This really is a family affair, as aside from both being station adopters at St Anne's Station on Lancashire's South Fylde line, Shalene is Christine's niece. And alongside friends, they worked with other volunteers at stations within their community rail partnership and truly brought community and rail partners together at a time of national crisis. They are described as invaluable assets to their community, and as judges, we agreed. We felt this showed the perfect marriage of the railway family responding to an urgent need and helping to stitch the community together. There were some great entries, including one station adopter who drove a 40-mile round trip just to deliver food and company to someone cut off from their family. Really heartwarming. So thanks to all of those who took the time to nominate a friend or a colleague. And now our final short interlude as we hear the last two of those wonderful mini-sagas.
A small, brown, worn suitcase. A frightened refugee child. A treasured, battered toy. Eyes take in a station last seen 80 years ago. Memories. A shiver of the past. Eyes take in green hills and grey stone houses. Where's the sea? Hands of friends reach out. We share. We care.
Garlands adorn the station concourse. Near the model railway, a band plays. Children make decorations for the tree. Overheard. Didn't know they had trains at the North Pole. Must be the reindeer's day off. A large, bearded figure, dressed in red, steps from the train. The Santa event can begin.
And thank you so much to the Friends of Buxton Station for contributing the mini sagas. It's really added to this evening, and I hope you've enjoyed them as much as we have. Now, on to our final award of tonight for outstanding contribution to Community Rail. Now, this award enables the Community Rail Network to recognise a team or a group that's delivered outstanding achievements, taking into account the range and breadth of their work rather than focusing in on a particular project or activity. So it's a special award that's a bit different, and we simply have one winner. There's no shortlist, no second or third place.
Now, the seeds for our winning entry were first sown back in 2017 when colleagues within Community Rail began discussing the concept of linking Community Rail partnerships through education work. Their ethos was to provide opportunities for partnerships and groups to support each other, using ideas and experience to deliver greater success in terms of educational and community engagement. The group was initially open to Community Rail partnerships across the Northern network, but when COVID-19 hit earlier this year, they moved meetings online and invited members from across Britain to join, offering a hugely appreciated opportunity to see friendly faces, chat, and share ideas and thoughts.
So I'm thrilled to announce that our very worthy winner this year for outstanding contribution to Community Rail is the Community Rail Education Network. Now, since its inception, this group has delivered and devised a host of well-received educational initiatives and played a key role in driving forward youth engagement across the Community Rail movement. This year, their online sessions have not only continued to share ideas and good practice, but also to provide a sense of community, providing many, often lone workers within Community Rail, support and motivation during a difficult time. They're to be commended for their adaptable and innovative approach, which has resulted in successful projects like Backtrack, a national competition to tackle rail trespass. This work is growing ever more important as members consider how educational work within Community Rail will look in the months and years to come.
Really, really impressive, and huge congratulations again to the Community Rail Education Network. Well, that's it. That's our virtual awards for 2020 over. Well done to all of our worthy winners and to everyone who entered and worked so hard in such a time of adversity. All of you make Community Rail the inspiring and successful movement that it is, and you should all be proud of everything that you do. And you can read all about these winners and the placed entries in this year's winners booklet, which will be available to download from the Community Rail Network website as we close. But before we fully wrap up, I think there's something else coming through.
welcome to Marchwood. We really wanted to be able to bring you here by train this year for the conference, but we're sorry that we can't. Well, we've got another year now to make sure that we can get that funding approved, and maybe you can travel from Oakhampton to Marchwood by regular trains next year. We're thrilled, both of us, to be working with so many great community partners across Great Western and South Western, and it's a delight to be able to talk to you tonight as you get ready for your awards ceremony. We hope you're excited, because there's lots of exciting things happening, Mark, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely. As well as showing you some of the stuff Matt's looking after on Great Western, we'd have liked to bring you on a special train down this line through Marchwood, past the fantastic semaphore signals behind me. Who knows, we could have carried on and kissed the gates of Fawley Oil Terminal with a special service, something hopefully to look forward to next year. We've also got the Hythe Pier Railway just down the road, which is a fantastic little train on the pier, and of course many of you, I'm sure, would have liked to cross the water, have had a last ride on the 1938 stock on the island, had a look at the Isle of Wight Steam Railway and the fantastic community rail activity that we have going on. But we're going to host the awards in a year's time, and as Matt says, that gives us another year to get some of these things together. So we'll put on a great show in a year's time. We'll have a special train for you. We'll bring you out on this line. It might even have been announced as reopening by then, and of course we'll have £26 million of investment on the community rail line on the Isle of Wight to show you as well.
So it's a good night from me,
and it's good night from him.
Well, thank you, Mark and Matthew. That was fantastic. And I'm sure everyone is really looking forward to the next big event in Southampton, we hope, next year in October 2021. Now, before we go, I want to say another massive thank you to you, Robert, for doing such a great job tonight. It's been a pleasure working with you. So thank you again.
You're really welcome, Jools. It's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, not only to be helping you host these events, but also to be one of the judges that was looking through these incredible stories. And it just, reminded me what a wonderful railway family we have, and I've only been in it for 2.5 years, and I've just been overwhelmed by the creativity, the excitement, the endeavour all over the country. And, Community Rail just exemplifies all of that. So it's been really, really great taking part. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you. And I mean, these awards, they're always so inspiring, to hear about the fantastic work and the energy and enthusiasm on the ground within Community Rail. And I think, although we're doing it online this year, it's, that hasn't been lessened at all. So, thanks again to everyone for engaging and for entering. And thanks also go to our judges who spend a great deal of time every year considering the entries, including you, Robert. We have panels of independent experts and judges that come together and review all of our entries. And this year, of course, meeting online to make their decisions. So thank you to everyone who's fed in and helped decide this year's winners. And of course, a thank you goes to all of our sponsors. Without you, our awards just wouldn't be possible. So we're very grateful for your ongoing support. And thank you too to our wonderful team at Community Rail Network, especially our awards team, Hannah and Hazel in particular, for all the hard work that they've put into this event. And finally, don't forget that Hop-In will remain open for about another hour, so you can perhaps hold your very own after party. There are 3 areas to explore. The expo area will be opening again, so you'll be able to visit our sponsors. You can also head to the networking zone, which I'm told is a little bit like speed dating, where you'll be paired up lucky dip style with other attendees for a short video chat. Makes it a great way to meet and mix with other community railers. So do have fun. That sounds very exciting. Or in the people section, you can search the attendee list to find friends and colleagues and have a text chat. or to request a video call. So the equivalent of catching up with them at the bar. Just a little bit different though this year. And just to say, if you do a video chat, remember you both need to click the long meeting link to join the room. Otherwise, it could be a bit lonely in there. And one final reminder too, to check out our chosen charities, fearless.org and the Tree Council while you're in the expo area, and do please donate if you're able to. These are two great causes. So I think that's just about it from us. So I will close by saying thank you again to all of you for joining us tonight. Thank you to everyone who's entered, and a massive congratulations again to all of our very worthy winners. I am really looking forward already to welcoming you in person to Southampton next year. Good night, everyone.
Yeah.